with all AI, don't use it as a replacement, use it as a productivity tool. Listen, don't fully automate a channel with AI telling someone how to recover from depression, because there's such a a non-personal approach there on such important subject matter. Maybe you don't know how to write a script, and so you can click generate on this topic that you know is really going to be good, and then edit that script. Make it a little bit more personal.
Creatives, which most of us in this industry are, we hate pitching ourselves. We feel like we're annoying. We want people to hire us because they know that we do good work. But 20 years in running a video production business, and it's taken me a really long time, Austin, way too long, to realize that this whole top of mind thing, it's actually a thing. And if you're not embracing social media and content marketing, you're just making it way too hard for yourself.
What's the best that could happen? I love that mantra. When trying something new, I've been procrastinating writing a book for a long time, and I'm finally like, what's the best that could happen from this scenario?
On episode 425 of the podcast, we talk about how to leverage AI tools for content creation while staying authentic. We also cover why reposting content is actually smart and why nobody actually really cares. And then finally, how to use trolling the trolls to boost engagement and reach. All that and so much more in this episode of the podcast. Hello, my friend. Welcome to this episode. Today, I get to chat with Austin Armstrong, who is the mastermind behind the app Syllaby and someone who's absolutely crushing it with AI-powered content creation and all things AI. We're diving into everything that you should be considering. I know you're like, Ryan, I'm just a filmmaker. Ryan, I'm just a video producer. Here's the thing. We've got to be top of mind. We have to have some kind of a social media presence, and I just want to give you all the options, and then you choose what works for you. But man, in today's day and age, you have to be showing up online. If you want to grow, if you want to scale your video production business, if you don't want to become irrelevant, this is something to consider. There are definitely some AI tools and things that I think are no-brainers to help you scale, to help you buy back some of your time when it comes to content creation for you or coming alongside of your clients. Some things to consider. So I'm glad that you're here for this episode. If you're brand new, welcome. Did I introduce myself? I'm Ryan Coral, the host of the show, Grow Your Video Business, and founder of a video production studio that's based in Metro Detroit, Michigan. And I've been doing video production for 20 plus years. I love brand films. I love documentaries. I love working with our clients to understand what are their strategic and the fact that I even used the word strategic, rewind 20 years ago when I first started doing this work, it's like, video, I get to do it, shoot it, edit it, this is amazing. And then when I started working with businesses, realizing that I didn't necessarily need to talk differenter, but that I needed to understand what businesses care about. And so after years of like hanging out with businesses, being a business, there are some things that I understand now and things that I can say when I talk about business, like KPIs. And wait, don't ask me what is that? Oh, key performance indicators. Okay. I know what that is. ROI, KPIs and ROIs and just, all of the things. I used to just be like, what? I'm not going corporate. I don't need to know those things. I'll make good videos and then people will hire me. Yes, some people will. The deeper you get into the world of trying to help businesses, the more you should understand at least some of the basics here. So speaking of the basics, if this sounds like maybe I should know more, maybe you want to book $5,000, $10,000 jobs or $20,000 or more jobs, and you want to be working with businesses and creating whatever, motion explainers, brand films, docu-style, whatever. If that's you, then I want to invite you to come into my world, to take one more step than just listening to the podcast here, I am building a community of filmmakers. I have online education and courses and masterclasses and masterminds and all of the things to help you in your business today. Period. Question mark. You can dive in more. I've got a free workshop that you can watch, participate in. If you go to studiosherpas.com/10xfilmmaker, you can sort of enter this world and take part in this workshop. It's a totally free workshop where I've taken 20 plus years of running my own studio, having employees, having a studio, booking 6-figure jobs, building a 7-figure production business. I'm like cramming all of that into a workshop there. And then you can get into the ecosystem and get updates on the cool in-person things that we're doing, the online workshops, and just there are lots of things going on, and getting on my email list is the best way to do that. But coming into this workshop and really seeing like, man, I like how Ryan does business, or I don't. That's a great next step. So if that's you, check out the free workshop at studiosherpas.com/workshop or studiosherpas.com/10xfilmmaker. Stick with one URL here, Ryan. Come on. Okay. That's all I've got for now. I'm really excited about this interview. There's lots to this here. There's some really funny stuff, and I think some really helpful tools that you might want to consider. So with that, let's get into this episode. What's up, friends? Hey, welcome to another episode of the show. I'm super duper... Do I always say that? I'm super duper excited, but I am. My guest today is Austin Armstrong. Austin is the CEO of Syllaby, actually not self-proclaimed, but like I asked him, I was like, what's a good way to introduce you? He said, he's somebody that creates businesses so that he can create content so they can create business, or create content to create business so he can create content. What was that, Austin? It was really good.
First of all, I'm just super duper excited to be on with you, Ryan. But
thank you. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. Long story short, I'm just a content creator at heart, and I build businesses that allow me to just be a content creator.
Yeah. It's learning your story, your journey, the things that you've done, even in like a small amount of time. It's fascinating. It's really, really cool and inspiring for so many people. I just remember when we were going to The Thing in Orlando, and people were talking about you. I'm like, man, I feel like I should know this guy. And the more I learned about what you do, I'm like, this is fascinating. The work that you do in AI and the software that you've created, it's so cool. Yes. When you share with somebody like what the heck Syllaby is, how do you describe it to someone who might not be like super, when they think faceless, people are like, I don't know, what does that even mean? But how do you explain it to maybe like my mom? How would you explain it to her?
Yeah. So if you know that you need to be active with video, but you can't get out of your own way, Syllaby allows you to create, schedule, publish, and automate videos to every social media platform in a matter of minutes, is the best way to look at it. And, when we first met, I attended your great, your good private session. And then we could, you spoke, I forget if I spoke first or if you spoke first, actual session, but I think I was telling you, I can't remember. Like, this guy is either we're going to get along real well, or he's going to hate me and everything that I stand for and everything that I do. And I think it worked out. I think we're cool, man.
I think it worked out. It's working itself out.
Yeah.
I would say, I did that workshop and then you're like, yeah, so, and you had a question or something. And as you explained what you do in the software, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like the complete opposite of everything that I am, when I got into this business 20 years ago, like for me, I have fallen in love with people's stories. And then as we got into video and doing videos for businesses and whatnot, I realized, man, if you can create an emotional connection with your ideal client, you win. And so how do we do that with video? And so, here's what the honest truth is, which is why I appreciated so much of what you brought to that event. And the software, it serves a certain audience, and it serves a purpose and a role, and that's great. It's like, I talk to so many businesses that don't care about their story, or they don't think that they have a story, and they're not going to leverage it, but they see something like what you're offering. And it's like, man, we would love to have video, but I don't want anybody from my team to show up on video. Like, that's not. Oh, so there's a solution for that, and Syllaby is that. And explain a little bit about like where you started with Syllaby, because even since we met, you guys have had so many additions to the software, and you just keep coming out with cooler stuff for the software.
Yeah, thank you. So to scroll out a little bit and why I wanted to create Syllaby in the first place, I've been in the video marketing, video production agency space for 11 years. I started as an intern at a video production marketing company, worked my way up to manager, started my own video marketing for social media company a little over 6 years ago. And I saw a lot of the same repeatable processes over and over again. Businesses know they need to be on video, but they don't know what topics to create. They don't know what to say on camera. They need help staying consistent and accountable. They don't have the time to learn how to do editing themselves and distribute them across every social media platform. And this was an opportunity for us as an agency. Frankly, I got a little burned out on the agency space, just for a lot of different reasons. But video and
a lot of us can relate.
We could go down that. That's a whole other podcast that we could talk about. But,
right.
At the end of the day, I love helping people wherever they're at in their journey, and whether they can afford to pay an agency or not. I don't want to limit anybody's ability to just get started and create content online. This has completely changed my life, completely changed the trajectory of my career and everything that I've done. And I just want to provide the tips, tools, and strategies to help other people just get started. And so Syllaby is really a workflow tool that you can use in various different ways. You can completely automate faceless videos if you want to do that. It kind of is adding to the noise a little bit. We can talk about that in the social media landscape. It gives people initial traction to get to where they want to go, so that they can hire an agency or reinvest into their company later on if they want to. But what it does is it shows you topics that people are searching for online with data to back it up. So if you don't know what topics to create, you can type in your niche, you can type in a product or service that you offer, and it's going to show you a list of all of the questions that people are searching for online, like a keyword research tool for SEO, for instance.
Yeah.
And then in one click, you can generate a video script around that for short form content or for long form content. You can completely customize it however you want. You can create videos that are faceless videos. So you can now create B-roll style faceless videos. You can create AI generated images and even animated AI generated videos that tell a story or create educational content. And it does everything. It adds the subtitles on it. It adds all of the animations, the editing, background music. You can clone your own voice with AI, or even now you can upload your own audio file of you naturally talking, and it'll turn it into a video. And then you can connect all of your social media channels and schedule, publish, optimize to be ranked and found organically on all of those platforms. We also have AI avatars and a video editor. So you can use one of the AI avatars to create videos from scratch, or you can create an AI avatar of yourself. So if you want to have your personal brand out there, but you just don't feel comfortable creating a video that day, you feel low energy or anything like that, but it's still important for you to be the face, you can create a AI clone of yourself in Syllaby that looks, moves, sounds like you. It's a little stiff, right? But the technology is improving. And you can edit a video from scratch as well. So if you just want to have a tool to find topic ideas, help you with scripting, and then you actually be the content creator, you edit it yourself, and then you want to schedule and publish it out, you can do all of that in Syllaby. So you can have as much or as little involvement with AI in your content creation journey as you'd like.
I love that. Yeah, it's insane how this thing continues to grow, what you guys are doing. This is probably a good time in the show to let people know that neither Austin or I are actually here. This is our avatar.
This is my AI avatar.
Wait, is that what the noise that they make?
Yeah, when they just fizzle on screen and whatnot.
Yeah.
We've added that. It's actually a recording of me going.
So I really love that idea. You know, I hosted an event at our studio yesterday for our local Chamber of Commerce, and it was amazing. Nice. We had like 70 people at our studio. It was so fun, ton of energy. And I know 80% of those people don't want to be on camera. Mm-hmm. And they don't want, their coworkers, nobody on their team, nobody wants to be in front of the camera. So just the fact that you have something that can help people get started to create any amount of traction, it's something that I'm trying to break down for people to simplify it so that they can just, make that first video, publish that first video, do something instead of not showing up at all. So the fact that you have something that allows people to not have to show their face, if they want to, show their AI face or whatever, that's fine. But to make that kind of more engaging content, it's just genius. When you think about content strategy, my guess is that most people in the content marketing world would say, like, if you're creating content, you should probably create different kinds of content because people interact with content differently. Some people want to read stuff. Some people want to read long articles. Some people want to read short articles. Some people want to watch videos. Some people don't want to watch videos. Some people want a short video, long video, just the whole thing. So in my mind, with something like Syllaby, you've got a lot of different options there, and it doesn't have to be the only option. But even as a business owner, certainly, you're doing what you can. Part of the core of your business is creating content. So certainly, I love your Facebook content, just tips and tricks for AI use and all of that. But for pretty much every business owner to find time to market ourselves is really, really tough. So when there are tools out there that can help us, man, like it's worth investigating. So here's where it's a little bit challenging, and I'm curious, for a video production company or a freelance video person or whatever, what things might we create that doesn't, I don't want to say it's not gonna, not sacrifice isn't the right word, but I want people to hire me to film them or their team or their thing and tell their story or, capture the essence of what they do and all that stuff. So I need to be creating my own marketing material, showing up on social. What kind of outlets and things should I be focusing on as a service provider, but also as one that's kind of in the same market of, Syllaby is making videos. How can I leverage a tool like Syllaby for my own self and my own marketing?
Well, for you specifically, I'm going to say that you don't have a problem being on camera. So this might even sound counterintuitive, but I would say don't use Syllaby at your level.
That's the thing. Like in this workshop yesterday, I was like, I'm teaching everybody here, nobody wants to be on camera. There's a couple of weirdos like me that like to be on camera. So I'm not, I'm the exception here, but for most everybody else, that's normal. They don't want to be on camera. Yeah. So continue. Thank you.
Sure. So, how Syllaby works is based on my repeatable processes. That's one of the things that really separates us as well, is that I treat all of these platforms as search engines. Social media platforms are search engines. People just might search for content a little bit differently and discover it a little bit differently than Google. And so if you just start by knowing the pain points or the reasons why someone would hire you in the first place and the services that you offer, start there. You can use our idea discovery engine which you can search across Google Trends, X, Pinterest, TikTok, all of these platforms, and just type something in. For instance, I worked a lot in the behavioral health space with a lot of therapists and addiction treatment centers. And so a good example for them could be signs of depression. You could type in signs of depression and it'll show you a list of all of the questions that people are searching for around that. Like, what are the early signs that I have depression? What is depression versus anxiety? What are some tips to relieve depression in the moment, et cetera? And then create content around that. Understand that that is a person that is in an emotional state that needs your help. And so you can use AI to generate a script around that topic. And the scripts do follow my best practices for script generation. But with all AI, you don't use it as a replacement, use it as a productivity tool. So, if you're creating listen, don't fully automate a channel with AI telling someone how to recover from depression, because there's such a a non-personal approach there on such important subject matter, right? So maybe you don't know how to write a script, and so you can click generate on this topic that is really going to be good, and then edit that script, make it a little bit more personal. Look at the structure of the actual script, make it sound like you in your voice, customize it a little bit, add your contact information or your website in there, a little bit of addition, like if it lists 2 tips and you're like, I don't agree with this 1 tip, or let me add an additional tip, add all of that stuff in there, make it perfect. And then you can generate that video, whether it's with an avatar or it's faceless video. And then we make it really easy to customize everything afterwards to make it perfect. So if you're generating a faceless video, for instance, and the AI generated style, it generates a unique image in whatever art style that you choose. If you don't like an image, you can swap it for anything. You can regenerate it based on something you type in. You can upload your own image of your practice, of you on set, doing production, whatever your industry is, you can upload a short clip and it'll replace that. And it's just a really easy way to take an idea to a script that is in your voice that resolves a problem, to making that video function in a way that's going to perform really well online with the different editing and cuts and time on screen. And then, once you have your perfect video, you can download it and manually upload it. You can schedule and publish it out through linking, and that whole process is going to help. It sounds like a lot, but it really only takes less than 5 minutes to do the whole process. Once you kind of learn the inner workings of stuff, and that's just going to save you so much time at its core principle. I mean, for you personally, Ryan, create content around teaching what you do and just give your best information away for free. But if someone's not comfortable on camera, that's kind of the process that I would follow.
I love it. Having a process is really helpful. And I will say that even, I'm specifically LinkedIn, that's where I've spent the most time creating social content. You look at a week's worth of posts, I might only have 1 video out of, 5 posts. And it's not because I'm lazy. I just don't have a good enough rhythm of just making more videos specifically for LinkedIn. But, even this morning we had an FAQ post that, this same idea. It's brilliant. What are the questions that people have when it comes to getting video production? How much should it cost? And how long does it take? And just things like that. So for me to make a quick video, hey, a lot of people ask the question, how much does this video cost? Well, here's a couple of things that you need to know before you even start asking that question. It's, start with the end in mind and do this, blah, blah, blah. So me showing up, talking about that is great. Well, let's go back to, everybody that's on LinkedIn. Not everybody wants to watch a video. Not everybody can watch a video. Maybe they're scrolling during work. And so if they saw a carousel, or if they saw, something that had captions, or they just saw something that was different, an animation of me saying these same things. I just love that there's opportunity for variety. And you could play with a tool like Syllaby to test out what resonates with your audience. What are they going to engage with online? And it doesn't have to be the thing that you're necessarily, the service that you're providing for clients, in our case, video production, right? It's showing up, creating consistency, and being top of mind. That's the best thing that you have going for you when you decide to actually do any sort of digital marketing.
Yeah, and top of mind is so important in every single industry. I'm gonna butcher this story, but I heard this and it always stuck with me that there's a family at a dinner party together. They're all chatting, and couple one says, "Hey, I want to say amazing news to everybody. My wife and I, we just purchased our first house, and we use this real estate agent that we found on Instagram, and it was so cool." And cousin Steve over here looks across and says, "You know, I'm a real estate agent. Why didn't you go with me?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're right. God, I completely forgot." And it's because because cousin Steve is not top of mind, right? It's not where, couple that's purchasing a house and making an important buying decision is spending the most of their time. But they saw a video with real estate agent influencer in their city that's talking about their problems. That's saying, if you're looking for the perfect neighborhood that is walkable and has a fantastic school district for your child and has great bars and restaurants and entertainment, but it still fits within a good price point, check out this house. And they're already in the mindset of making a purchase decision. And this person, this influencer that's creating videos and staying top of mind, resonated with their messaging, and they made that decision, and they didn't think of cousin Steve because he's not top of mind.
Dude, I'm getting like PTSD. I've just had so many conversations like that before. Just in December, a buddy of mine is like, "Oh man, I just got some videos," and I'm like, "You what? Like, you don't even have to hire me, but you didn't ask me if it was a good price. You didn't ask me, just like all." He's like, "Oh yeah, I spent like $12,000." I'm like, "Dude, what the heck?" I was like so mad. Here's the thing, creatives, which most of us in this industry are, we hate pitching ourselves. We feel like we're annoying. We want people to hire us because they know that we do good work. But 20 years in running a video production business, and it's taken me a really long time, Austin, way too long, to realize that this whole top of mind thing, it's actually a thing. And if you're not embracing social media and content marketing, you're just making it way too hard for yourself. I remember watching a Gary Vee video a couple of months ago, and he said something like, somebody's like, how often should you post? And I think he said something, he's like, "I'm posting on LinkedIn like 3 or 4 times a day." And I'm just like, I immediately was like, "Dude, that's like way too much." He's like, "But guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody's watching my stuff." Like, you have to have this mindset that the way the algorithm works and whatever, it's like, no, it doesn't feel like too much. So whatever you think might be too much, I dare you to try to make that much content and to post that often. And I've sort of realized, originally we're like, "Oh, let's post once a week on LinkedIn." And then we're like, let's try 3 times a week. And then we're like, well, let's try every day. And then at some point I was like, man, I feel like we're posting too much. Let's go back to 3 times. But dude, when I have people that say, "Hey, I saw your content on LinkedIn. It's really helpful. It's really good." It's like, the only way that it's happening is by us showing up. And then one more thing to this whole thing that sort of blew my mind. This guy, Eric, that was helping us out with our LinkedIn, was like, "Hey, you should repurpose your old content." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, just like repost that stuff." I'm like, "No, dude, I'm not going to like repost stuff that we've already posted, 2-3 months ago." He's like, No. Nobody's going back in your LinkedIn feed and looking at your old posts. I'm like,
100%.
Oh my gosh, I think you're right.
Yeah. No, there's so many things that I want to unpack there, because you brought up so many good points.
Go.
To the Gary Vee thing. Yeah. You have to remember that the only person that sees every post that you put up is you, or your assistant that is posting on your behalf.
Dude,
but that's
1,000,000%.
Literally the only person, right? To your earlier point that we brought, that we kind of skated over is different content types, and there's so many different ways that you can repurpose the content too. So let's go with the LinkedIn example, right? You could create a long form video. You could then use there's great AI tools like Opus Clip, for instance, that'll take a long form video and it'll automatically clip out sections and zoom in on the face. So I'll add captions, all kinds of really cool stuff. And so now you have shorts. So if you're like, you create a video, 10 things to know before hiring a marketing agency, that's 10 shorts that you could repurpose. And to your other point, like sometimes people watch the video with the audio on, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they read the long form description on it. So I've seen a lot of people, the text is literally just the transcript of the video to sort of hit that algorithm. You can use tools like ChatGPT, turn it into a newsletter. Newsletters work great on LinkedIn. If you haven't tested that that model out. So like I was consistent with it and I'm not doing it now, but like I have, I think 2,500 newsletter subscribers on LinkedIn through that functionality, because when someone connects with me, I think it automatically sends them an invite to subscribe to the newsletter. And so you reach that algorithm, and those newsletters are able to be optimized to be found on Google because LinkedIn has huge domain authority. And on all of those articles, you can set a SEO title and a meta description. And so you can take like one long video and turn it into all of these different types of content to repurpose across the board. And like, if we get into to Instagram, I don't know if you're doing much on Instagram, but trial reels are huge right now. This is something that I'm so excited about that I've been testing the last month and a half, and it is absolutely crushing it for me. So if you're not familiar,
this is where like you can send it to people that aren't your audience or something like that.
So I didn't even, when they first rolled this out, I didn't try it because I don't think that they explain what it does very well. So I actually thought it was the opposite. I thought it sent it only to my followers. And then I'm like, that's not yet. So what I've been doing after I came to the conclusion, no, this is a huge opportunity. Like I download my top performing videos and I post them as trial reels, and not every single one, but a lot of them are performing exceptionally well, really well. And then you can, after you test it for a long period of time, if you want, you can send it to your regular audience, and then it kind of just bubbles up and fuels together. But like, that's another way, even if you are concerned about reposting your content, that your followers or fans will see that content again and get irked about it or whatever, do it as a trial post, and nobody that is a follower is going to see that video. So there's so many ways to repurpose.
It's funny, even saying that though, I guarantee there are people that don't want to post because they don't want to post this certain thing because their family follows them, and they're like, man, I don't want to seem like I'm pitching all the time. So they won't post for the people they're friends with, but then they also won't post because they're afraid of the potential of who's out there. I don't want to say the wrong thing and for them to not follow or get in, inquire about what I do. It's like, oh my gosh, we are making this way harder than it needs to be.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. We're our own worst enemies.
Oh man. One of the thoughts that I had, the thing that I typically will do is I'll have a concept, an idea around, what should video cost, or what are the 3 best videos that any company should have. And I can vamp on that topic, right? Because I've been talking about it for so long. And so I'll record something like that, and, we might edit it, shorten it down or whatever, and I'll post that on LinkedIn. But then taking the transcript, exporting the transcript from that has been my best friend when it comes to creating content, because now I've got my voice, my tone, all of the things. And then dropping that in a ChatGPT, it's like, okay, help me write a newsletter for this video. So I'm going to point people to this LinkedIn post where this is the thing that I say. or taking a script like that, dropping that into Syllaby and creating some kind of other like video that doesn't have to include my face. I mean, there are, just like you're saying, there's so many ways to repurpose content to get more mileage. And then there's also the, hey, just post the thing again, right? The same exact thing. You don't have to recreate the wheel every single time, but the tools out there are making it easier and easier for us to be able to stay top of mind.
Yeah, man, I can't tell you how many times I've reposted some of my top performing videos, literally 10 plus times. I've reposted some of the same videos, and 7 out of 10 reposts will perform really, really well. You know, and the other thing you can do is like, if you don't even need to download the video that performed really well. You can re-record it word for word and do it that way. If it, you know, there's endless ways, but we're our own worst critics. And like, I don't care about any of that. I got out of my own way long ago. That you have such a small, like, even if someone saw it before, if the content's helpful, it's probably a good refresher. They might have been looking for that piece of content. Oh my gosh.
Dude, I think that's the part that has been so hard for me to get over or to really embrace. I mean, that I love what you just said. If it's helpful, if you created a piece that is helpful, if you're not leveraging that and exhausting it in every way, because the whole intent is to add value and to help people. So if we can remember that, even if you don't like what you look like, or you don't like, you wish you said it a little bit differently, if it's the thing that hits, let it keep hitting.
Yeah.
Like, get the heck out of the way and let it hit. Austin, I feel like, you've I don't know how many collectively followers, like over 1 million, right, on the different platforms. You figured out some, I think, hilarious little things that turn into, sort of like viral kind of things. And you mentioned one of them when we were together. And since then, I've seen a couple of people post videos, very subtle, like this one lady. It was actually a faceless video, and she was describing something, and I can't remember the word, but it was like cinnamon, and she mispronounced it, and she said it like 3 different times, and it was very much like, wait, what did she say? And then I told my wife, I'm like, hey, click on the comments, and I guarantee like the first comment is going to be, people pointing out that word that she said wrong, and I guarantee she said it like that on purpose because she said everything else correctly. So share a couple of like those odd things that make us so curious and get more views.
Yeah. So I learned long ago, as a child of the internet, that trolls are inevitable, and all these platforms care about is engagement, more engagement. They don't care if the engagement is positive or negative. And it's easier to get negative engagement because the naturalness of internet trolls. They love to assert their egos. They love to state their anecdotal evidence, whether it's factual or not. People love to argue. And so you can leverage that in a lot of different ways. Some of the ways that I've done it, to your first point, like I will show a video editor, DaVinci Resolve 18, right? And I will say DaVinci with purpose, DaVinci Resolve. And every single time they run to the comment, no. Or I'll cover a website called AnswerSocrates.com, and I'll say Socrates. And again, like they'll run to the comments and they'll phonetically spell it out, Socrates. Or I will, a lot of my content is sharing useful websites, and right below, I'll plan a little folder or a second tab that says Donald Trump NUD ... And it'll be like just a link to OnlyFans. So the OnlyFans logo is there, and it says Donald Trump NUD ... And it's like, oh, what? Ooh. It's so jarring. I don't mention it in that instance. It's in plain view because it'll be a bookmark or another tab that's right below the URL. So I hold it up there on the screen for a minute. Without fail, that happens every single time. you could have like weird objects in the background. I think I brought up I'm waiting for a real estate agent to do this example. Nobody's taken me up on it yet. I've shouted it a million times, but I just want someone to do a house tour, and they're showing this beautiful house. It's great. And they get to the backyard and they're showing this beautiful backyard. And then out of nowhere, someone in a Bigfoot costume just walks from one tree to another tree behind it, and just make no mention of it. Just have it there and just have them in the weird, like walking pose, like from the photo, from the, 80s or the 70s.
Instant viral.
Photo.
Yep.
Stuff like that. There's, like little thing, like whatever your comfort level is. You can even do this with like, this is a psychological element of Easter eggs. So I'm trying to think of the book. There's a great book I can't think of it offhand, but there's a great book that is unrelated to content creation, but you can take a lot of the elements and work it into your content creation to build insane traction and insane loyalty. And so these Easter eggs, they're recurring things in your content that become insider language. And so the people that know my sense of humor, they follow me, they like the content, they look for those little Easter eggs and things that I say. New people run to the comments to assert their egos, point out the flaws and correct themselves. The fans and audience will respond to those comments and say things like first time here, huh? And like string them on.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I love about these little things is like, as the troll runs to the comments to put a paragraph on why they're right and I'm wrong, my video's still looping and playing in the background, racking up watch duration time. And because the subject matter is really helpful in the video, I'm leveraging these trolls. I'm trolling the trolls to increase my overall engagement and view duration so that my helpful videos reach more people.
Dude, I mean, it's genius. Trolling the trolls. I hadn't heard that before. That's really good. So we'll get that book from you later. I will devour it. It sounds fascinating. These are things that I think 10 years ago, I had too much of an ego or was just afraid to have haters and trolls.
Yeah.
But even as you're explaining it, I'm like, who cares? Like,
who cares?
Part of when I walked away from that event that we were at together, I just said, I think part of showing up, if we can be a little bit entertaining, that's what, we're engaging in this format that originally was created to entertain.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
If we forget that piece, then it's like, I don't want to be boring. And so if there are little elements along the way that we can do to add our personality and our flair and really make it our own, whether it's showing up on video like this, whether it's, having, the cartoon version of you or text only or whatever that is. I just love that we have that opportunity. And so my mindset is really shifting, going from like, okay, I just want to add value. I want to create great content that's going to help people in their businesses and their life and whatever. You know what is more fun is to make it a little bit fun and to really bring my full personality, which isn't very serious, hardly ever, right? Or I can be serious for a few minutes, but then hey man, life is too short for us to just, I don't know how many funerals I've been to, even of very, very close family, where at some point, we're cracking jokes and we're laughing at. It's like, yeah, okay, I've got something wrong.
A celebration of life.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so as a, think through service provider, filmmaker, what is your best recommendation for somebody to, I would love for filmmakers to think through, how could I use a tool like Syllaby to help me create more content to market myself? Also, let's encourage the people who aren't ready to hire us to create content regardless. And then maybe, they catch the bug of what would happen if I actually showed up? If I'm the coach or I'm the main person, showing up can only do you favors at some point. What would be your best recommendation for somebody like me, but not like me, somebody who doesn't like seeing themselves on camera? What would be a good step for them to consider showing up, creating some kind of consistent content and creating that like top of mind mentality?
Just start. I took on a mantra that I heard a great speaker say last year. Was
this at my talk?
No, it was. Sorry, brother. I can associate it with you, but the truth is, it was a different speaker. But I took so much from you, of course. But what's the best that could happen? And I love that mantra when trying something new or taking something on. I've been procrastinating writing a book for a long time, and I'm finally like, what's the best that could happen from this scenario? What's the best that could happen from you starting to create content online? Will it change your life? Will you have so many clients that you have to scale? What is the best thing that could possibly happen, no matter where your journey is? Trying Syllaby. It doesn't have to be about Syllaby, right? It could be any one of these software tools to help you out. What's the best that could happen? That it saves you countless hours every single week. It allows you to stay more consistent and stay top of mind so that you're the first person that someone thinks of that needs your service. What's the best that could happen? That it generates consistent leads from the description of that video on all of the social media platforms because it targets a keyword, and you have a call to action link in there to capture leads in your email or your website or anything there. Just get started. Sign up and give these tools a go. They're just going to help you no matter where you're at. And it might, if you're a new content creator and you've never spent money on a tool before, I can understand that can be a daunting thing. But you have to invest in yourself. That you can only get so far by investing your time. At some point, you just have to invest your money a little bit, and that's going to look different for everybody. And I'm not saying this to like pitch Syllaby. Like, go to conferences, pay for coaching, pay for a mentorship, pay for online courses, pay for books. Pay for things. Yeah. Don't be afraid to pay for things that are going to level you up, and continue to ask yourself in anything that you want to do, what's the best that could happen?
Dude, I love that. That's the mindset I'm talking about. What's the best that can happen? Dude, thank you for that. I also believe, when you start when you invest like that, people listen to this show. They're like, okay, I'm going to spend some time listening. And maybe it's passive listening. That's fine. Okay, buy a book. Okay, listen to a book. Read a book. Okay, I'm going to go to a conference. I'm going to hire a coach. I'm going to join a mastermind. I'm going to go to the event. Those are all investments in yourself. And those are all things that are really focused on working on the business, not just in the business. And the only way to grow, to get to that next step in your business, you have to work on it. You can't just keep doing the same thing inside of your business, the same tasks, the same flow of, hey, I check my email during these hours. I try to catch up in these things. I try to catch up on proposals. I'm always playing catch up. You're always going to be playing catch up, and you're never going to get to that next ring or level or whatever until you figure out, where do I want to go and how can I get there? And sometimes we can get there a lot faster when we hire a coach, or when we go to an event and we meet a lot of other people and kind of mastermind as we're together. You have an event coming up this year. I would love for you just to share a little bit about that event. Who's going to be there? What will people walk away with when they attend?
I do. I quickly just want to say that I remember the name of the book from earlier. It's called Primal Branding. Primal Branding.
Oh, dude. Yes. Love it.
It is so good. It's
yes,
not really
I agree.
Have you read it?
I have read it and I'm embarrassed. I'm like, oh yeah, shoot. That's why I resonated because I'm like, oh, this sounds really good.
That book is so freaking good, man. If you're a business owner, you're a content creator, you're trying to build a community online, read that book. You're looking for it? You got it back there?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm looking for it. I'm like, where is it? I've got like 3 bookshelves. It's not over here.
Yeah, so it's called AI Marketing World, aimarketingworld.co. I have put together probably the best AI marketing experts, at least in the United States, together. I think some of them might be international and are coming in, perhaps, but it's going to be October 9th through the 11th in Dallas, Texas area. I think just slightly north in Frisco, technically, is the hotel that it's going to be at in Conference Center. If you're looking to stay up to date on AI, learn really practical implementations for your business of how to use AI at all levels, from content marketing to automation to productivity to scaling teams, you name it. This is going to be an awesome conference. I'll be there, of course, speaking, probably doing a couple speeches. We'll see how it goes. But we might get Ryan there to do a workshop too. We were talking about that a little bit. It's gonna be a really good time.
Yeah, love it. My plan is to be there. I've yet to book my ticket, but I am planning on being there. The lineup, if the only thing I went for was to be able to rub shoulders with the lineup of people, oh my gosh, it's going to be incredible. And that's another thing that I've learned. It's like all the content I'm sure is going to be great, but the conversations, I just remember us having that dinner in that little like side restaurant, whatever, at the hotel. And that was like one of my favorite moments of the 3 days we were together. So good. And so if you have yet to, go to an event and you're like, I don't, I like being behind the camera. I don't want to do the networking thing and whatever. Man, you can learn so much by not even having to say anything, but listening to other people that you're sharing coffee or dinner with and hearing what they're doing. It's like, oh, this is fascinating. The inspiration and all the stuff that comes from something like that. So great. Love that you guys are putting that on.
Yeah. Quick introvert networking tip, by the way. Energy is one thing. If you're just like, I get drained by being around crowds, that's one thing. But if you just don't know if you're okay being around people, the best way to network is to just ask questions. Don't jump in and like pitch yourself, right? That's not a good way to network. Unless you're going to like one of those type of events. But like a conference like this, everybody is so friendly. I absolutely love the marketing community events. Like same thing, like at the Thing event in Orlando, just grabbing dinner and talking shop. Mark, who was at our table, is speaking at AI Marketing World. I met him there, just super cool dude. Was on Jason's podcast afterwards, and Jason and I have connected a lot. Just super cool guy. The going to these conferences, you can learn so much from the speeches, but if you just go out in the hallway, go to the bar afterwards, go to the, just the hotel lobby where it's at, just ask people questions and, choose the question wisely in the environment that you're in. But if you just ask questions, it's gonna take you further than you believe. And don't have your stuff prepared, but like if you just ask questions, and that's really gonna help you become a better networker.
If you want to be interesting, be interested.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
Kids,
I love that.
So I tell my kids all the time, hey, you want to be popular at school? Then be interested. Ask kids questions. Yeah. I don't know if they get it yet, but they'll get there one day. Okay, Syllaby, give us the URL. How can they learn more about Syllaby and then follow along with all things Austin?
Yeah, Syllaby with a Y. So syllaby.io is the domain to try it out. All plans are 7-day free trial, so no hard feelings. If it's not the tool for you, we want to empower everybody to create content so you can fully check everything out. The website for the conference is aimarketingworld.co. My personal website is austinarmstrong.ai, and that'll have all the links for anything that you want to get a hold of me for.
This is awesome. This is awesome, Austin. Awesome, Austin. This is awesome, Austin. This was awesome, Austin. This is, okay, I think that's all I've got. How do you want to leave us today, my friend?
Just get started and stay consistent, and remember to ask yourself, what's the best that could happen?
Dude, love it. So good. Austin, thank you. Really, really appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the opportunity to be on.
All right, friend, thank you for hanging out with me on this episode. If you found this helpful, insightful, if you have any takeaways, leave a comment if you're watching this, or you can email me. My email is ryan@studiosherpas.com. And don't forget, check out the free workshop at studiosherpas.com/10x filmmaker. I'm here to help you. I want you to be successful in this work. I think there is enough to go around. I approach this work that I do in production with very open hands, believing that there is a ton of abundance for you and I. So if I can help you win in your own business, I want to be able to do that, period. I appreciate you. Want nothing but the best for you. Keep climbing. I'm here. Let me know how I can help you. Till next time. Peace out.